In the fall of 1953, an entire family vanished without a trace from their secluded farmhouse near a steep ravine known only as Devil's Hollow. What was left behind was nothing but scratched-out words on barn walls, mutilated chickens and cattle, and one warning etched into rotting wood. He waits in the hollow. Despite weeks of search efforts, no trace of the family was ever found. Their names, Ernest and Mary Ann Whitmore, and their two children, Julie and Peter, became footnotes in a mystery spanning over the years. Devil's Hollow has always carried a sinister reputation. Since the late 1800s, dozens of unexplained disappearances have been linked to the area. Locals whisper of ghost lights dancing between the trees, of screams echoing through the valley, usually heard after midnight, added to the ever-present unsettling feelings. Between the faded pages of Mary Ann's journal, an entry reads, "I fear I am going mad. Their shadows seem to lurk around every corner within. The woods are not quiet. They breathe, they listen. I fear I am being watched." On the morning of September 13th, 1957, the postman found the Whitmores' mailbox swinging open in the wind. The Sunday paper still rolled tight, damp at the edges. A rooster wandered out into the dirt road, confused and clucking. No smoke rose from the chimney, no footprints on the mud. The sheriff was the first to enter the house. What he found chilled him for the rest of his life. The front door was unlocked. Inside, breakfast dishes sat on the table, bowls of oatmeal still half full, milks turning sour. Ernest work boots were by the door. Mary Ann's sewing lay folded on the armrest. Peter's toy truck sat abandoned in the hall, but the house was silent. There was no sign of struggle, no blood, no sign of forced entry, except for the message in the barn. Scratched deep into the aging wood with something sharp and jagged were 3 words: "He waits here." That was the last trace of the Whitmores. No bodies were ever found. Search dogs refused to go beyond the edge of the ravine. Locals whispered that it wasn't the first time Devil's Hollow had taken someone, and it wouldn't be the last. You've probably seen Devil's Hollow before, not in real life, but in movies, films like Whispering Pines and The Hollowing, all borrowed elements from the real-life mystery. Families besieged by unseen forces, strange markings on walls, and that ever-present forest just outside the window. Even the phrase, "He waits in the hollow," has found its way into horror scripts, indie movies, and game lore. But where fiction ends, the fear remains. What makes Devil's Hollow terrifying isn't just the vanishing, it's the silence that followed. Vanishing without a trace, with no answers or clues, just this stillness, like the land itself is hiding something. Some of the locals blame the happenings on an ancient presence said to guard the ravine. Others speak of dark cult rituals, an unseen portal. But the most unsettling theory is the most terrifying, is that the hollow takes what it wants and never gives it back. Today, Devil's Hollow is overgrown and forgotten, but the stories persist. Unknown lights are still seen in the tree, whispers are still heard at night, and the barn, it still stands, half buried in vines, with the warning etched deep in its bones. He waits in the hollow. Sometimes the scariest stories aren't the ones we make up, they're the ones we can't explain, the ones that never let go. Which real-life mystery keeps you up at night? Tell us in the comments and suggest a tale for us to unravel next.